Hey guys, this is Eddie McClintock, and I am hanging with Chris Gordon on Hellblazer Biz. And if you're smart, you'll keep listening.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, listeners, wherever you may be in the world right now. This is Hellblazer Biz with your host, me, Chris Gordon. Today's guest I have the privilege of talking to is a very well-established actor, familiar to many with us, with roles in Desperate Housewives, Friends, Bones, Warehouse 13, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Supergirl, and many, many more. This guy can now be seen kicking ass as the sociopath Jack Payne in the USA Network's TV show Shooter, based on the 2007 film of the same name. Today I am proud to present to you Mr. Eddie McClintock. Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
I'm good. Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on and agreeing to this, and like I've already said, for putting up with my tenacity on Twitter and your poor manager as well.
Hey, you're a stick-to-it kind of guy, and I recognize that right off the bat.
Yeah, like a dog with a bone. Some people might say.
That's right, a pit bull.
Yeah. But no, I really do appreciate it. It's great finally sort of meet you, as it were.
Yeah. Skype is a miracle, isn't it?
It is. It's fantastic. You're sitting over there, 3,000-4,000 miles away, and it's just like we're in the same room.
Naked.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah, don't get me to stand up.
Yeah, exactly. We're both naked from the waist down, but that's not weird. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got a nicer view than me by the looks of it.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't know if you can see. We've got a little pony back in the.
Oh, right now I can't see.
We've got a stable for 2 horses and a tack room back there. My wife we rescued a pony about a week ago, so we've got a new little pony, and her name is Penny Lane.
Oh, cool, nice.
Yeah,
in that case, on Saturday I'm going to Liverpool, so I will take a picture of Penny Lane and I will tweet it to you.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome. My wife, and then I'll Photoshop a picture of Penny Lane on it.
Yeah, there you go, and that'll be the original Penny Lane then.
Nice.
Cool. So, as you know, I've got a few questions for you, or more than a few. We'll get through what we can. So I don't want to keep you all day.
No problem.
It'll ramble away if we want to. First question it really takes you right back, is how did you get into acting in the first place?
Ever since I was a little kid, I started, I guess, because I always wanted to make my mom laugh. Mm-hmm. So I spent a lot of time trying to make my mom laugh. I mean, I grew up playing football, and I wrestled, and I played baseball, and I did a lot of sports. And growing up in Ohio, I just no one ever pushed me in that direction. But I always loved film, and I always loved TV, and I always wondered how these people did that stuff, how they knew how to talk and walk and on screen. And I graduated from college and Ride of the Valkyries. That's our phone ring.
Awesome.
So I graduated from college, and I moved to Los Angeles to sell corporate insurance for my uncle. Mm-hmm. And he fired me after 7 months because I was pathetic and did not deserve such a good job. And, it took me some time to kind of get my life together. I got sober, which was really the most important part of it. I grew up partying harder than everybody else. I've always been that, like, a very extreme. When everybody else was laying there in a coma, I was like, "Get up! Come on, we're not done."
Yeah,
and that took a toll on relationships, and it was one of the reasons I got fired from my insurance job.
Right.
And I got sober, and I decided that I was going to start taking some acting classes. And after I started taking acting classes, a friend of mine said, "You should come in and meet with my friend. He's an agent, and maybe I can help you get some commercial work." Yeah. And I started doing commercials, and I did a couple of national beer commercials here in the States that, my car was still a jalopy. I had a jalopy, but it had a full tank of gas, and I had a crappy little apartment, but the rent was paid. I wasn't living like a star or anything, but the commercial money made it possible for me to stay in acting class and continue to work on becoming an actor. And it just I knew that if I failed at that, there was a good chance I was going to have to go back to Ohio, and I didn't want to go back to Ohio as a failure, you know. And now I've gotten to the point where I can't really look back. I'm at an age, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? I keep telling every few months I'll threaten that I'm going to quit because I get kicked in the balls by this business so often, as do most actors, I would imagine. And then the reality that I don't know what else I would do, so sets in. And so that's kind of how I got into it. I didn't know anyone. My uncle was obviously in the insurance business. He didn't know anything about Hollywood. So, and I tried to surround myself with good people and stay the path.
Oh, cool. Excellent. Well, congrats on getting sober bit, because I know that's a huge, huge task for people.
Thanks.
So so I know that's a mountain to climb.
I tend to speak about it really freely. A lot of times it's got this negative stigma to it. It's kind of like saying, you have cancer. It's like, he's, sober. And it's just like, I'm proud of it. Frankly, I think it takes a bigger man to admit his shortcomings than to deny them. So
definitely.
And I've been able to help people that have heard me speak so openly about it. And if I can help anybody who's struggling, then I've done something worthwhile. So.
Well, no, that's really admirable. And you're right, the more people do speak openly about it, the more it does help. And especially someone in your position and I'll say elevation, from a fan perspective, that is, it's a good thing to pass on and see that as well.
Thanks, Chris.
No worries, you're welcome. I know I've got another question, but I'm going to go back because I know you've done wrestling, and I know obviously I've seen posts that you've made. I've researched you on the wrestling side of things. Do you still grapple at all? I mean, 2 years ago, at the age of 38, I took up pro wrestling. There's a little North Wales.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same kind. I know yours Olympic wrestling type, but
right.
Very, very different.
Yeah.
But I took up that for about 2 years until I had an accident, and I basically lost the use of one of my quad muscles because I fell out the ring head first.
You fell onto your head?
No, my hands managed to stop my head, but the ropes were a bit loose. And when you do the up and over, the pro wrestling one, where you do the up and over, I duck over. Yeah. I stumbled as I got back up, went through the ropes, head first, straight through the ring. But as I went down, my leg smashed, obviously, the plywood board underneath, and then the metal. And I've now got a dent in my leg. On my thigh.
My God.
This is nearly 2 years ago now, and I've still got the dent there and a slight bruising, but the bruise is all around my basically from my groin down to my knee, all the way around. And
don't do that.
No, it's stupid. Yeah, advise people don't do it. It's not very clever and it's not very good. But I've now lost the quad muscles. So question is, do you still grapple?
I grapple with my insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
No. My friends want me to get into jiu-jitsu.
All right, yeah.
But I haven't done it yet. I've been threatening to. But I stay at the gym. I try and stay fit. There's nothing worse than walking on screen and showing everybody your one pack,
Which unfortunately, that's the big bit you can't see of me. I look like Mr. Stay Puffed, unfortunately.
I try and stay fit, and I run, and it helps with my brain,
Yeah.
But as far as wrestling, I haven't. My son Jack was starting to wrestle last year, so I bought a pair of wrestling shoes, and I would go to practice with him and kind of roll around with him a little bit. I don't know. I'd like to get back into it. Maybe I could help coach, if my son decides to go back to it. He's playing flag football now. He just went from tackle. His last game, as I told you, was Saturday, and so he's starting flag football. So
cool.
We'll see if he gets back in.
Nice one. Sounds great. takes a lot with the wrestling. We did shoot wrestling as well, which is more of what you guys do. The proper one, you just go in and you've got to basically pin for a second and that's it. And
Right.
That was probably the toughest training I've ever done, because they just put you in there for 3 minutes and, you're hell for leather, and it's, good God.
Yeah. You can only imagine. I mean, a college wrestling match, I think, is 3 minutes, then 2 minutes, and then 2 minutes. So 7 minutes. And you can imagine these UFC guys that are going in there for 5 minutes. It's like the conditioning that you have to put yourself through to get ready for something like that it's incredible. It's why I have so much admiration and respect for those guys, because I know what they're putting themselves through, and it's rough. It's rough.
It is. It's a very, very, very strenuous and constant effort.
Exactly.
Cool. So going back to acting again, who inspired you or inspires you still?
As far as acting is concerned?
Yeah, as far as acting is concerned.
I grew up loving the not ready for primetime players on Saturday Night Live. John Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner, Jane Curtin, and Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris. I love them. I was just a little kid, and my parents would let me stay up late on Saturdays and watch Saturday Night Live. Cool. Henry Winkler, when he was the Fonz, I used to love the Fonz growing up. Michael J. Fox, and then Robert Duvall. Yeah, I really loved Johnny Depp's early work. Leo DiCaprio. I actually started acting class with Charlize Theron.
All right, cool.
And Charlize and I were pretty good buddies there when we were in acting class together when she started out and I was starting out. And one day we were rehearsing something at her house for a class, and Leo DiCaprio just walked in and sat down and was watching us rehearse.
Oh, wow.
He had done Gilbert Grape, and I don't think he hadn't done Titanic yet, so he hadn't exploded into the stratosphere yet, but he was still, I remember going, oh my God, it's Leo DiCaprio.
Oh, hell yeah.
De Niro, Pacino, Brando. I always loved Martin Sheen. There's a lot. I know I'm when I get done, I'll be like, oh, what? I didn't say that guy. I like Samuel L. Jackson. The list goes on.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, there's you've listed some brilliant minds and people there as well. De Niro and Pacino, I think, and Brando, and obviously, even Martin Sheen and Brando in the same film together. Apocalypse Now, the horror.
Oh my gosh. My dad took me to see Apocalypse Now in 1978, and it blew my mind. It blew my mind. I knew that I loved film, and I thought that I was like, I love film so much, maybe I should be a director. I love the art. I love the fact that you can watch someone on a screen and they can affect your emotions like that. It's pretty cool. And the greats just tear your guts out.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, yes. With keeping on Apocalypse Now as well, it was the cinematic masterpiece. Not only the acting and the power of the acting, because the dialogue was powerful enough as it was, but it was quite scant in regards to obviously the context of the film. But those lines are immortal. The horror. I love to wake up to the smell of napalm in the morning. It's just
right.
But that coupled with that cinematic experience of that entire woodland just going up in flame with napalm, and
and that was all practical. It was all practical. There was no CGI. No CGI. And if you've ever seen the movie Hearts of Darkness, that's the documentary that is about the making of Apocalypse Now.
All right, no, I've not seen that.
It shows they truly Coppola almost lost his mind over there.
Yeah.
I think they were in the Philippines, and they shot it in the Philippines, and they were there for a year in the jungle shooting this film. Martin Sheen had a heart attack, and they Willard was originally supposed to be Harvey. Well, I think they shot with Harvey Keitel as Willard, and then they replaced him with Sheen, and then Sheen had a heart attack, and Brando wasn't going to show up, and when he did, he was 80 pounds overweight, which is why they had to keep him in shadows. Got Dennis Hopper, who I should have mentioned Dennis Hopper, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Harrison Ford, one of his first films.
Harrison Ford, yep. Timothy Bottoms and Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
I mean, when I got to work with Lawrence Fishburne on CSI, I mean, that was amazing. I mean, it's one of the things for me as an actor, being a kid from Ohio who by all rights should be selling toilets back in Canton somewhere, to be able to work with people who I admire so much is like, I mean, I'm a total fangirl when it comes to that stuff. So
that's a good way
pretty
to be. When you're in the industry, that's quite a good thing to do, because it's the passion, isn't it? There, you've got a passion. You've got it means you're doing what you love, which then echoes when you're on, to being on the screen for people to watch. That passion really does come through, because I mean, if you're bored doing a job, then that's going to be reflected in the work that you give. So to have a passion in your kind of, that experience, and like you say, working with people like that you're in the same boat with them as I am, kind of, talking to you. It's great to have.
It lets you know that you're kind of on the path. You're where you're supposed to be and doing what you love. So, and that's rare. I remember when I was in college, my dad had picked me up or something. We were in the car, and I was watching all these people going to their jobs, driving, and I was just like, I'm never gonna do that. And my dad's like, you're never gonna do what? You're never gonna what? Have a job, Eddie? What are you gonna do? You're gonna lay around all your life? And I just was like, I just don't. I want to do something that like that I love, and not something that I have to do because I have to pay a bill, you know? And the fact that I've been able to achieve that so far in my life is I just consider myself so lucky and blessed, which is like the fact that you contacted me on Twitter and wanted to do this. Like, I was like, I mean, I want to be able to, help people and give back and do something that's, I just want to, I don't know, give back or whatever. I don't want to sound too, it's not like I'm freaking, Jack Nicholson. Here, let me help you out, kid.
Yeah.
But I hope you understand.
I do, yeah. I do. It's good. And it's like you say, it's something that you want to do rather than just, going out to pay a bill. I mentioned to you before, I just started. I had a role 2 months ago now. It was an extras role. I had about 15 to 20 lines. So it's just, I got a speaking role, my first ever role on camera.
Wow.
It was a very...
Yeah, that doesn't sound like an extra.
Featured extra, it was classed as. But yeah, that gave me a good insight into the long days that you guys have to go through, because I think for about 2 hours worth of filming, I got there at 10 a.m. and I finished at 10 p.m. And I don't even think it was 2 hours, actually. It was probably about an hour in total. And half an hour of that was spent on a concrete floor with my hands tied behind my back and having cold iced water poured over my balls.
Nice.
Yeah. The character
was always an upside.
It was, yeah. The character was kind of...
That's why I never understand when you hear actors, it's really hard. We were there for 14 hours. It's like, okay, you're not digging a ditch or working at a foundry or, down in a coal mine. I mean, it's pretty easy. You have people bringing you food and, I never understand. That's why I never try and bitch about my job. I mean, I've done things where, it's been long and difficult, but nothing compared to like what a lot of people have to do for their to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah, no, appreciate that as well. It is good, but yeah, you're right. But again, the hours do take it out of you, so I will give it that, because it is a tiring day. But like you say, you're not down a coal mine, so it could be worse.
The toughest part for me was for Warehouse 13. We shot in Toronto, and my family was here.
Right.
I mean, if anything was hard, that was the hardest part.
Yeah, separation.
But we lived on Skype, like we would just turn Skype on and just leave it on. So whenever I was home, my wife and I wouldn't even necessarily be talking. She would turn it on and set it in the house so that I could hear what was going on in the house.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, I'd be like, "Jack, get down off the counter," and he'd be like,
"Yeah, where does that come from?"
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, there's Dad."
So. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel for you there as well, because I had a job last year. It's actually the year I did my wrestling injury up in Blackpool, but it's not as far as Vancouver is from where you are. But it was still I think it's about a 3-hour drive each way, so I had to stay in a hotel Monday to Friday, and I'd only see my family. So we lived on Skype. During the weeks.
You have kids?
I do. I've got a little 9-year-old boy.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ethan.
Right on, man. Congrats.
Ethan. Yeah.
Are you guys going to go again, or are you?
No.
You're done.
One was enough.
Gotcha. The window of opportunity is closed up. It's closed up for us too.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he's a lovely little boy, very polite. I'm quite happy with the way he's raised. Does me proud every day.
Good work, man. Yeah, I bet you'll be a good dad.
No, thank you. I hope so. That's what I try to be.
Yeah.
Try to pass that on. That's the best you can. That's all you can do, isn't it? Just to, try and be the best you can for the other people and for your family.
Yeah, no one gives you a blueprint, right? It's just like, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Do the best you can, hope for the best, and hope you don't end up with a serial killer.
Yeah, that's quite true. You could end up with Jack Payne as your kid.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to move on to some questions regarding some of obviously the shows that you've done, which
okay.
Not all of them, because you've been in a hell of a lot, to be fair to you. You've had a nice illustrious career, and long may it continue.
Thanks.
But,
I'm the most successful anonymous guy in town.
It's a true fact, isn't it? I mean, because people recognise your face from everything because you've been in so many things.
Right.
That you've been able to get yourself across, and I think it's brilliant now that these roles are coming more and more to you. And obviously with Warehouse 13, I think has really changed that for one, becoming a household name definitely. On that one. Definitely. Yeah, it was.
Well, people come up to me now and they're like, "Did we go to school together? Do I know? Do you know so and so?" I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Why do I know you? Is it?" And I'm like, "It's a weird situation that middle ground, because you don't want to go, because this has happened to me before. I'll go Warehouse 13, and they'll be like, "What? No, what's that?" And I'll be like,
"Oh no,
nothing. No, I don't know. I don't know where you know me from." So, and then once people kind of know what I do and what I've done, then all of a sudden, as they're watching TV, then once they know me, they'll be like, "Oh, I just saw. Oh, okay." And there you are on, like all these old reruns of shows that I've had bad hair in. I get a lot of flack for my hair.
I don't know why, Although, to be fair, when you played Sully and Bones back in season 2, it was quite bouffant,
right?
And it was
floppy.
Yeah, what the hell went on there?
I mean, to this day, I still get people that go, "You were so great on Bones. What was going on with your hair?" And I'm just like, you know what? Why don't you send me some pictures of your hair? Yeah, and I'm going to go online and I'm going to talk about your hair. I had long hair, and they wanted to cut it, and I let the people at Bones cut my hair, and that's what came out of it. And I vowed never to let anyone on set cut my hair. anymore. So now I do all my own hairstyling.
Oh, fabulous.
Yes. I get the dippity-doo and the hair dryer and all the wonderfulness.
Lovely. You should have rollers as well,
Sure.
Complete the look.
You got to.
Yeah. So talking about Bones, obviously you initially played Sully back in season 2, which was Brennan's love interest while Booth was out of their picture.
Right.
Did you ever think, obviously I know you've just recently gone back on, did you ever think you'd go back on the show again when you were back there?
Every time I'd see Hart Hanson, who was, the creator, I'd be like, Hart, I'm out of work, buddy.
Yeah.
Bring me back. And he always kind of threatened to. And apparently he told me that some of the writers had talked about, having Bones find Sully's body,
right.
or having him bring him. But he was like, I wouldn't let them kill Sully.
Yeah.
And I'm glad for that. I got to go back and see Emily, and I hadn't seen her since. So a lot had changed since then, and she has kids now, and it's just great. She's such a lovely lady, and it was nice to be able to congratulate her on 12 seasons and to be able to go back, and it was really a nice honor that they would dig me up after 10 seasons to bring me back. So
that's brilliant. I mean, that was another question. What was it like working with David and Emily, and obviously everybody else as well? Because it's just, again, it's another cast that seems, after 12 seasons, it must be pretty tight knit and a nice family atmosphere.
It was great. No weirdness at all. I mean, a lot of times after 12 years, people change and they become, especially in this business, the money and the fame can zap your brain. But she's gold, and David's great, and they're all really just good, normal people. It hasn't really affected them too much.
Excellent.
I, on the other hand, have become a complete asshole.
Total diva.
The fame, So,
well, you are. I mean, you sat there in your sparkling gown, and you've got, as I say, you've got your hair all up in your rollers, and
yes, get me my tea.
You've got your little bell there to get your tea as well, with all the servants around you.
Exactly. My bell and my shotgun.
Yeah.
You gotta show strength, Chris.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Don't show the weakness all the time.
No.
Excellent. I mean, so Warehouse 13, we'll move on to that one now, which is obviously, that's where I truly sort of became known to yourself as an actor in that respect, and it was one of the shows I absolutely adored, and I was devastated when it finished. But Pete Lattimer, it was just an amazing show. Now, I've got this from geekdad.com. I believe you did an interview a few years back with them, and I just took it because I thought their description was brilliant, so that's why I've referenced it. Pete Lattimer is somewhere between your goofy but protective older brother, and a playful hound who wants to chase his tail. I think that's pretty perfect.
Yeah. It's funny. I always kind of likened him to the puppy dog, and it's similar because my two boys, I always say my younger son is the cat, and he's like Lynn, my wife. Max is you'll walk by and he'll reach out from under the thing and just swipe your ankle, and you'd be like, whoa. Whereas my son Jack is more like me, and he's the puppy dog that runs up and licks your face. And Pete. Yeah, that's a great description. I mean, what a wonderful opportunity for me to play a character who was noble and loyal and protective, but at the same time he hadn't lost that
innocence,
childlike innocence that the Peter Pan. He was Peter Pan,
definitely.
And it was. I miss it. I miss being able to see all my friends and my Warehouse 13 family, but again, that's the business. That's just the way it is. So.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of me in Pete Lattimer. So again, it was the dream job because really all I had to do was show up to work and
And be there. Stay
be
your lines.
myself,
That's got to be a pretty perfect role to play then. That was one of my other questions: how much of Eddie do we actually see in Pete? So if that was the case, then I mean, yeah.
Pretty blurry. But it's nice because I like to think that I have both sides of Pete Lattimer. I use comedy to protect myself and to keep myself safe, but at the same time, I like to think that, I'm fiercely protective of my friends and family, and I got to let the world see all that without, having to pay for a psychiatrist.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we got something very in common there as well, because that's kind of how people. Well, I'll say some people describe me. Some people describe me in words I probably can't repeat on.
Same here.
But yeah, it's very much that. I mean, that's what I try with my son and living it through my son as well. Now it's you like you said with your kids, you get the chance to. It's an excuse to just be that goofball and just and let it out. And yeah, I battle a lot of insecurities from my weight for starters, because I always have trouble with it regardless, and I always battle that through comedy and humour as well. And
sure.
I think we have got a lot in common on that one. With obviously Warehouse 13's also touched so many people, and not inappropriately.
Hello.
With its links to the mystical. There you go. There's one. Nice pun. Ching. With its links to the magical and mystical. Obviously, the steampunk-esque that brought another genre and era of fans, people in as well. We touched on it. Was it really as good to film and to be a part of as it was to watch? Because again, it was just, you had such a stellar cast and guest people coming in, and storylines were just amazing.
Yeah, it was, because you never knew from week to week who you were going to be or where you were going to be or when you were going to be, because we traveled in time, and like you said, our guest cast, my mom was a Starfleet captain, and my wife was the hottest Borg in the universe,
Very true.
I mean, I remember, because I had always had a big crush on Jerry Ryan, and then when they told me she was going to play my wife, I just was like, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I told her when I met her, I go, you realize my stud cred just went up like 100 points. And, she's so lovely. And to work with Brent Spiner.
Oh, yeah.
And Anthony Stewart Head. And, I mean, the list just went on and on. And I was like a kid in a candy shop, I mean, truly. I mean, Jack Kenny used to say, my boss, the EP, he would make sure that the crew would, if there were any like red buttons or anything that I could push that could cause a catastrophe, to have them covered up with tape before I got on set. Because, I mean, that's just, I'm fidgety, and that's the way I am. And,
what's that?
Yeah, exactly. See the missiles start going up. Yeah. So, it was the dream job. 5 years of really the best time of my career. Excellent. And like I as an actor, I always wanted to be like, reach people. I mean, that's the purpose, right? Yeah. And so to be able to like get the response back from the fans that we got, and I never really knew about Comic-Cons and the massive response that you get from sci-fi fans. I didn't know. And man, I love going to cons. I love meeting people that support the sci-fi and support me, and it has been a really significant part of my life, to be able to meet little kids that look up at you and go, oh my God, it's Pete Lattimer. Because when I was a kid, like Henry Winkler, the Fonz, I remember I wrote a letter. Back then you had to actually write.
Right, physically write,
And I remember I got a poster back from a picture, and I never forgot it. and if I can have that effect to like endless wonder, that's what it is. Like to this day. I actually met him a few years ago and got to tell him some of the stories about what a huge fan I was. And he had a big smile on his face, and I did too. And if I can even have a small percentage of that and have that effect on people, then I guess I'm doing something right.
Brilliant. Talking about Comic Cons, I'll just do an ad hoc one here. If we talk about, obviously, you like Wales, you like the UK. We've got Wales Comic Con coming up in April. They're currently looking around for guests. If you'd like, if you're free.
Write your congressman. I would, like I said, I love coming to the UK. The people have always been insanely nice to me, and of course I would love to come. So if there's an interest, then yeah, sure.
I've seen your name pop up because they're asking for guests at the moment, and I've seen your name pop up a few times from people on there.
All right, I'll have to write. I'll pretend I'm someone else. Oh, get Eddie McClintock and
get in the forum.
Pay him more than everyone else.
Seriously, Wales Comic Cons, as I say, this is the only one we really go to. It's stuff like that. It's such a family affair. We've had, Manu Bennett was over this year as well, and a lot of Game of Thrones guys, because that's filmed near us. But people, I can put you in touch with the guy who runs it.
Oh, okay. Is it Brian Cooney? Do you know Brian Cooney?
I don't know him, no. It's Jamie Milner, his name is.
Okay.
He's a great chap. I can
tell Jamie I said hi.
He'll be listening, so he'll know. But yeah, no, that's cool. It would be lovely to have you and see you over here in the UK, obviously.
Thanks.
But hopefully, it's going to be a catch-22 though, because if you're over here, it means we're not going to see you on the screens because it means you're in between filming.
That's right.
So yeah, it's catch-22.
Well, Shooter has been in the can now for a year.
That's true.
I've been waiting for this thing to get on the air, so it's nice to finally know that we're in the process.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're coming on to Shooter in just 1 second. Okay, I've just got two more about Warehouse 13, really. One's from Amber Surratt, and she's saying, what was the funniest moment you had on set in Warehouse 13?
Hi, Amber. The funniest moment. God, that's difficult because it was all... you saw the tone of the show. The fact that I'm, licking the Farnsworth and gas. There was a lot of flatulence, which was always funny. The best ones for me was if I could get Joanne to go, Eddie, because she and I, whether she'll admit it or not, she's a lot like Micah, and so there was a lot of actual arm punching from her. Gosh, I don't know. Just the whole experience was a blast. It was all funny.
Fair enough.
Well, not all of it, but
the experience.
You spend 15 hours a day, 5 days a week for 7-8 months with the same people. You're actually spending more time with them than you do your own family.
Very true.
And so, there are times when I drove Joanne bonkers and she would drive me bonkers, and we didn't always like each other all that much, but we always loved, like family.
Oh yeah.
So I'm sorry, I Amber, I don't mean to dilute the question, but that's my answer.
No, that's
final answer.
That's not a problem. And we've touched on this anyway. This is a quick one. Would you return to protect the warehouse should they ever find a way to bring it back? I know it was left with Claudia, was becoming the caretaker for that. And I know the way they've done it would be difficult, I guess, but would you?
Of course. Any chance to go back and work with Jack and, work with Aaron and Allison, Joanne, Saul, I think it would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would ever happen, but I certainly would do it. Sure.
Excellent. Fair enough. That's great. It'd be good to see it come back as well. It really would. Like I said, I don't know how they do it, but it'd be brilliant to get it back.
Yeah. Maybe they could do like a prequel or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that would work. That would work. Yeah, or it's an alternate timeline from one of the stories that you've already, maybe carrying an alternate timeline that you guys opened up. I mean, you pretty much closed them down as well, but there could still be something going on.
Well, that's the thing about that show. Point. You could say this happened, and no one could ever say, how could that possibly happen?
Exactly.
Because anything could happen.
There's millions of artifacts here that could have changed it.
Exactly.
I'll just give a quick shout out as well while I'm on this, before we move to Shooter. I've got some very special friends, Riley Cox and his wife Linda in Colorado. They didn't have a question to ask. They just wanted to say they loved you in Warehouse 13 and are now avidly watching Shooter due to you.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Riley actually served in Vietnam with the 101st Airborne LRPs in L Company 75th Rangers. And he's actually, my son's middle name's named after him. Yeah, he's a true hero. A lot of things that a lot of guys out there were, but he was... There's one patrol, Gary Linderer was in his team as well. He's the author of the period too. And there was one patrol they were in and they got absolutely devastated. And Riley was one of the last to be medevaced out, but it was because he refused. Apparently he had when he found him, he was sat there with a shotgun in one hand. His other hand was all mangled, holding his guts in, basically, because he'd been pretty much blown apart. And he refused to get on the helicopter saying, other people are worse than me, go. So he carried on doing it right to the end. He had about 30 or 40 surgeries in 12 months. But 12 months later, he went straight back to Vietnam because he didn't want to let his friends down. Yeah.
Well, massive respect and thank you, Riley, for serving. And, I actually have, I feel like I have veteran guilt. I feel like I should have served.
Yeah, I've got that feeling.
My Uncle Bob was a Vietnam vet also. He flew Hueys and he flew Cobras and he got shot down a couple times and he gave me my first haircut, which was a flat top when I was a little kid and he was my absolute hero. And it's interesting because when I saw Apocalypse Now as a little kid, I was like, Kilgore was my Uncle Bob. I was like, that's my Uncle Bob. I was a little kid. I mean, I knew that it wasn't actually him, but I was like, that's what he does. That's the kind of guy he is. Yeah. And which is why I've always just had this fierce protectivism and respect for our veterans. Yeah. And as I got older, and as my career kind of developed, I always want to give back. And I was like, I thought, what inspires me, and it's the veterans. So I kind of made it my mission to, just reach out to vets, show veterans that, there are those of us out there that care about them and that want to see them succeed and get better and be taken care of. So, God bless you, Riley, and thank you.
I can't fault anything you said there at all. And I know from Huey pilots, from the guys, because I used to run a reenactment group, which is how I got to know them. I used to run it in the UK, and they were so humble when I asked them permission, because I'm not built like a LRP, and that's where my envy comes in. I was never fat, but I am now. But I never was when I was younger. And but I wrote to them and just said, look, I'm not an ex-serviceman, but I'd like to present and obviously go around the country tour and teach people. And they were just so appreciative of it and the help that they gave me. And I know from saying your uncle was a Huey pilot, from talking to those guys, they said they've never met a Huey. Whenever they meet someone who's a Huey pilot, they'll immediately buy them drinks, and the drinks are on the house, because those guys saved their asses so many times. It was unbelievable.
Right. And the attrition rate for Huey pilots was, astronomical.
It was, very, very difficult to fly out there. With everyone, you had everything, and nature against you, as well as the enemy
If
people.
you've ever have you ever read the book Chicken Hawk?
I haven't. No, it's on my shelf up there.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah. You're looking at your shelf. No, sorry, I meant my shelf, my bookshelf.
If you've got it, yeah, you got to read it, man.
Yeah, it's on my.
It's, in my estimation, certainly one of the top 10 books about Huey pilots and what they actually did.
Is that the one written by William Meacham? Is it Meacham or Beecham?
Bob Mason.
Right.
Bob Mason.
Yeah. See, it's on my shelf right in front of me up there.
Cool, man. Nice.
I made sure I got all those books to read because, like you, I've got that full respect for those guys as well. And whoever's done anything to serve for their country, it's more than I've been able to do. So, full credit.
Exactly.
And they deserve everything and support. All right, cool. We'll move on to Shooter now.
Okay,
so how did you first hear about Shooter? I believe from what I've seen, initially you thought you were auditioning for Isaac Johnson. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I did a, how should I describe it? There is a program here for underprivileged kids, inner city kids that don't get funding or exposure to the arts.
Right, okay.
And so the casting director of Shooter runs this organization, and what they do is they help kids develop a script. They help the kids to write a script, and then they invite actors to come in, and then the actors have to kind of do a little audition for them, and then they pick the actors they want to act in their script, and then we act it out for their showcase, right?
Oh, cool.
And so I participated, and the casting director, she liked me. We got along really great, and she was like, she told a friend of ours, a mutual friend, that she had this thing Shooter coming up, and that she was going to keep me in mind for that, which is nice. It's nice to be mentioned, but rarely does it ever actually come to fruition. Yeah. I mean, but she stuck by what she said, and when it was almost a year later that Shooter came about, and like you said, I went in and I auditioned. And I thought I was auditioning for Omar's character, and because that's the sides I had. And then when they offered the job to me, they said that I was going to be Jack Payne, and I was like, "Who? Jack Payne? Oh, you mean the guy that's hardly in it? Because he's hardly in the pilot, and he was in it even less. We actually shot some of those scenes from the pilot after, so they were additions, the whole spa scenes, the clothesline and all that. That wasn't even in the original script. So
awesome! I did scream at the telly. I was like, "Oh, what a clothes!" I was like, "Awesome clothesline!"
Right? And so I had to go in and meet with them again and say, "Well, who is this guy? He's not. I don't know who he is. What's he going to do?" And they John Lavin and Simon Kellen Jones. They were like, no, he's going to be in it. He's going to be the main antagonist, and we think that we'd like to see someone who's not like a mustache twirling bad guy. We want to, we want to go the other way with it, and that sounded perfect, because what better way to have a bad guy that you're almost kind of rooting for in a way, instead of your typical bad guy, because there's some Pete in him, like he's not quite as silly. He's not as silly as Pete was, but he kind of he goes through and does all these terrible things with great spirit and elan,
Yeah.
So
yeah, excellent. I mean, it is the character himself. He's obviously he's ex-special forces. He was the wet work guy, the one who's mopping everyone up and clearing up the messes afterwards. I mean, you've likened him a little bit to Pete there, but obviously he's on the other scale of Pete, I think, as well. More sociopath. Yeah. So how did you find being able to play like that kind of a sociopathic character?
Fun. A lot of fun. I've always been drawn to, like those guys like in Goodfellas or Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs, these guys who you actually like them, but they're doing terrible, terrible things that you can't imagine ever doing.
Yeah.
So, I think there's some sociopathology in all those characters, to be able to devalue human life and not be impacted by it.
Yeah.
I when I was in college, I always was really into abnormal psychology, like minds of serial killers.
Right.
What is the difference between the normal brain and a person who can do these,
abhorrent acts?
Ted Bundy or serial killers who, like Ted Bundy was such a charismatic guy. He was, people liked him. He was smart, and at the same time, he was just a monster. And that's always fascinated me. Like, when does that happen? How does that happen? Why does that happen? And so to be able to explore that in Jack Payne was, I guess I could take that off the box, take that box off of the jobs that I've always wanted to kind of be able to have permission to play, to be that guy.
That's fantastic. And you've obviously played him very well, because like I spoke to you before we started recording, my wife was she just told me to come and relay the message that she absolutely hates you now, because she got a huge crush on you from Warehouse 13, but she watched you in Shooter and she was like, tell him I hate him.
Good. It's working. And it just he gets more nefarious as we go along. But again, he's just like, he does it with a smile.
Does it with How often we're going to see Jack pop up? Can you tell us that? I mean that might be spoilers, but
I'm in every episode. This week's episode, I'm not in very often, and then 3 and 4, I'm in it quite a bit, and then as we get closer to the end of season 1, I progressively become more of a factor.
Yeah. So cool, excellent. Can't wait to be looking for more of that to happen there. Especially after the end of episode 1, it just open-jawed. It just
right. I wish, like, seeing that, I wish I had gone, like, because I still was trying to figure out from the sketch of who Jack Payne was in the pilot. I wish I'd have walked in with more of a smile on my face when he shoots at Bob Lee at the end.
Yeah.
I wish I would have walked in with a little more joy, as opposed to, I guess I kind of had it in my brain like it's almost orgasmic for him what he does. He enjoys that power, because that's really what.
That's a sociopath type thing, isn't it? Yeah,
it's all about power, having power over other people. So.
Definitely. I mean, Cynthia Adai fans, that's the Twitter name. How was it to work with Cynthia on this? Because obviously they're a huge fan of Cynthia themselves. So followed her.
Again, I had so much fun on this set. Cynthia is so lovely, and Chantel is fantastic. The girls were both amazing. I mean, I know it sounds like, blowing smoke, but I love the cast. Ryan was great, and Omar, and to work with Tom Sizemore, because Private Ryan and True Romance and Black Hawk Down, and also we had a lot of veterans on the set.
Yeah, I saw that as well. That was...
And it's funny because they remind me of my wrestling buddies.
Right.
It's kind of all this arrested developmental guy play, like playing bag tag, and we did the circle, we played the circle game, where you go, oh, what's that? And and if they look at the circle, and then you get to punch them. Or if you put your finger through it, then they get to punch you.
Oh, right, okay.
I mean, just stupid juvenile,
boyish games.
But at the same time, because it's interesting, it's that kind of gallows humor in the face of having to do a lot of things that they had to do when they were active military, and and I just get along with that, and that's kind of my wheelhouse,
Yeah.
juvenile. What? Sign me up.
Yeah, I think we call it squaddy humor over here. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's that kind of.
So it was a lot of fun. Cynthia's amazing, and I wish her the best. And she's got The Accountant that is out now, and
Yeah.
so I wish her luck, and hopefully she'll send me some money.
Oh, excellent. As we bring this to a wrap now for you, I'm sure you'll be happy and relieved to hear. I was going to say,
Oh man, I'm here for you, buddy.
Thank you. You're very active on social media as well. Do you believe social media is important in today's day and age as an actor? Do you find it a good way to gauge what the fan base is like?
I do, especially because the studios value it.
Yeah.
I've been working with the studio in regards to like making sure that I'm putting out, the trailers that they put out and retweeting and stuff like that. So I think it's really important. I've made a lot of friends on Twitter. It's weird because, like my wife will be like, "Oh, you're online talking to your make-believe friends." She
That's
doesn't
what mine's
get
like
it.
as well. Yeah.
And I'm just like, hey, I mean, sure, we haven't necessarily met in person with a lot, but I've had some pretty deep discussions online with people. And I think it can be a great tool for your work as an actor. I think it can be a great tool as a person, as a human, to make these different relationships that you have. I think it can also, obviously, with what has happened here in the country politically, it's become, it gets a little, it can be very vicious, and divisive, but like anything else, there's a good side and there's a bad side. But I think the good side probably outweighs it, especially for somebody. I've had people on Twitter go, "Oh, Mr. Self-Promoter, all you do is self-promote," and I'm like, I'm an actor.
So what you're supposed to do?
That's my whole job is it's about self-promotion. I try and be graceful about it, I try and be tactful about it. I try not to be gross about it, but I got to do it. I don't have a publicist. So I do it all myself, and I try and show some kind of decorum and self-respect, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, that's how you get out there. That's how like you say, with the studios asking you, that's how you get noticed, or more noticed by other studios. I've spoken to quite a few. See, this is where I'm singing. I'm putting myself out. I've spoken to quite a few actors now, and they've got the very same thoughts as well. They're very active with social media, and they believe that obviously the self-promotion is what they've got to do. And especially a lot of the independent ones as well, because there's quite a few. I support independent a lot, which and that's all they've. A lot of the time, that's the majority. That's all they've got is to be able to promote themselves out there. So it's definitely don't listen to those kinds of comments because the majority of us we don't. We enjoy it. We like to see what you guys are up to, and
Thanks.
So it's good to always see.
Thank you.
Cool. So the last thing I've got to say, is there one last thing you'd like to say to the listeners and fans before we sign off? A little word of wisdom or... Well, maybe after the last hour. That might not happen. Joke.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, by all rights, I should be like the funniest ditch digger in Ohio, but I've been very lucky, and I consider myself really lucky and blessed to be able to do something that actually has an effect on people and something that I love. And I appreciate anyone that takes the time to say hello and to support me. And thank you to the fans. And it's weird. I don't like to say fans. No. It feels like too separate, like, oh, I'm this and you're the fan. So I guess to any of the people that have shown me support, thank you. And be sure to watch Shooter if that's your cup of tea, because I think it can be a lot of fun. and have me come out to Wales so that I can meet you in person.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie, once again for your time. That was really, really good. Really fascinating. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun talking to you. Hope everybody enjoyed listening to that. This has been Chris Gordon with Eddie McClintock on Hellblazer Biz. Good night.